So in the context of, let's talk about our own company. The organization is our own company or the team that we have got. So there are internal aspects here. So there are some people, some kind of bodies, some stakeholders who are internal to us, who we should work with. It could be employees, our own team members, quality control personnel. You work with your own SMEs who are all part of you're still working within the own company. You've got managers, you work with the supervisors, you work with the bosses, you work with the CEOs and all that. So these are all the people that you might either work directly or indirectly. They're actually going to help with the project. And then there's some other sort of stakeholders who are external to your own team and the setup. And those could be, for example, competitors, very important. You need to understand what they're up to, what they're doing. And that's why, for example, we were discussing the other day about the new way of competitors now. Google is not just a technology company. Google could be actually your competitor for Tesla, a competitor for Ford, for Toyota, because they're coming up with the new concept of a driverless car, for example. And same with all these, for example, traditional technology companies like Google, Facebook. I heard they're also opening up a new bank, for example. So the banks, traditional banks like Deutsche, HSBC, and Barclays, they need to actually start thinking about who their real competitors are. And they're not anymore the traditional mainstream competitors. They can come from any corner of the world, in any shape, any form. So you should be actually on the lookout. And the customers, obviously, very important aspect in the agile development. Customer-centric, user-centered, user-focused design and development, very, very vital. And customer engagement, very important. Working with the partners, working with the suppliers, I was talking about the e-commerce website. You should be working with the suppliers, the vendors of the products, so that you can fulfill the orders, right? It's not just having a fantastic website where I can place the order, great. But who's going to fulfill the order that is placed by the customer? Who's going to actually send the mobile accessory, the accessories that we're selling, the screen protector or the case, mobile case that we're selling through our website? Who is going to actually send that? Who has got the stock of that? Who's going to worry about it? That's the suppliers, the vendors. So we need to be tightly integrated, well working with those partners and make sure that it's all now working in tandem. And that's where the suppliers would come in. And also the partners could be some people who are enabling, the technology partners. It could have business partners, technology partners. You could have functional partners, all of these. And then we were talking about the regulators the other day, right? So we're in the context of GDPR has come up with a regulation, the privacy. How are you going to manage the data, the privacy of the data? Very important to have the regulation there. The banks being controlled, the cryptocurrencies being controlled by, not the cryptocurrencies, but the traditional ones are controlled by the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. So we have got some of these regulators who actually kind of saying, do this, don't do this. Even WHO, for instance, they won't actually have a say in terms of how the pandemic, current COVID pandemic is being controlled. If you ask me whether they're successful or not, that's a different question. But then we've got some of the regulators like regulatory policies like HIPAA, HL7, all of these are standards which all the hospitals and the healthcare industry players have got to follow. So again, it's important that we understand and follow those. Otherwise, we'll be slapped with fines and so much of irregularities. So that's exactly what we just mentioned is what is being described here. To be delivered to same customers as ours. So we're talking about, it's important we know who our competitors are, the beneficiaries, customers, partners, suppliers, product, services, components. In the context of e-commerce, we need to know who have got who are based, who have got that real supply, the actual cargo, who's managing the inventory of the products that we're selling, how we're going to manage that, all that, how we're going to relate to the supplier, the order processing, how can we relate and tell them. So all of these are going to be, very critical for the successful development of Agile. So it's not just about technology, but you also need to have a good understanding of the landscape of the